Righty, so we should be connecting here, and looks like we're sending data. We should be live. Fantastic. All right, guys, how's it going here? John here from IncomeMesh.com. Welcome to today's live stream. In today's video, I'm going to start off a series on all-in-one marketing and business platforms. This is something that I've kind of dabbled with intermittently on the channel, but I want to really focus on it this week because I've been getting a lot of questions from my viewers and from my readers about Kartra and ClickFunnels and Teachable and Kajabi and all these all-in-one platforms. And what I really wanted to do was just take a step back and talk about conceptually what these platforms are, how they're different and how they're similar to WordPress and some of the plugins that kind of replicate that functionality, and start to unpack that entire discussion around what is right for you and helping you make that right choice, because it can be extremely confusing, sometimes even paralyzing, when you know you need to make one of these choices that might last for years in your online business journey and you're not quite sure which is the right one for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and let me show my screen here. Looks like both of our guys are receiving data, should be receiving data, and we're good. So let me pop in I put a couple slides together here just to help make this more clear. So we're talking about all-in-one business platforms, and let's go ahead and dive in. So essentially there are kind of two paths, the tale of two roads, or whatever that Robert Frost poem is, where you have like the path that is straight and narrow and the path that is off to the side there. And neither one is right or wrong. There's just different paths of getting to ultimately the same place of having a successful online business. Path over here is the fully self-hosted route, or predominantly self-hosted route. This would be where you would have your WordPress-based website as the kind of the pinnacle, the crux, and then you would have an email marketing platform connected in, a lot of plugins connected in to create the functionality that you ultimately want for your business, whether that is selling consulting services, selling courses, selling digital or physical products, having most of that in your own hosted area to control and do with as you please. On the other side here, we have the hosted solution route. And this is really what the focus of this week is on, is that all-in-one platform route. So we'll show you some examples of who these are in a second, but essentially these guys give you everything you need. It may not be exactly how you want it, but it's everything that you need to get the job done, and they tend to do it in a cost-effective and more simple package. So the question becomes, which one is right for you, right? So let me give you a couple examples of each one of these categories of products so you can kind of make sure we're all tracking on the same page here. So on the self-hosted route, like I said, we're talking WordPress and all the plugins that give you all of that functionality with WordPress and self-hosting processes. So when you want to build your landing pages, your sales pages, some of your course content, if you're selling courses, you're going to be using a page builder like Elementor, Thrive Architect, Divi, some of those different tools there. These are all plugins. When you want to do lead capture, you might get Thrive Leads, all sorts of different, all the things that you need to market and sell your products. There are plugins all over the place that can serve a small part of that need. Then it becomes kind of the mix and match game of putting them all together into a single stack so they kind of work seamlessly together, right? So if you want to sell courses, you're going to want LearnDash or Lifter LMS or Zippy courses. Again, there's a ton of different options here. And Active Campaigns, just an example of sending emails. They do have self-hosted email providers, but those tend to be a little technical to set up, not very accessible to the newbies out there. And I've tried it and I decided that for the cost, I would just rather go with one of these established platforms like Active Campaign, MailerLite, MailChimp, etc. So that's the self-hosted route over here. We'll get into some pros and cons in a second, but that's kind of how it works. You have a list of options. You kind of pick like that a la carte menu. You pick this platform, you pick this page builder, you pick this shopping cart, and you run with it. On the all-in-one platform side, we have tools like Kajabi, Teachable, Kartra, ClickFunnels, and there's more coming out every day, it seems. But these essentially give you that transactional ability to accept payments. They give you the ability to protect content for your paid members and restrict it from your non-paid members. They give you the ability to create landing pages and sales pages and coupons and upsells and all the marketing goodness that you need to sell things. And some of these also even allow you to send emails and do customer support. Now, in this video and in this week, I'm going to focus in on Kartra because, kind of spoiler alert, I do think that if you're going the all-in-one route, I think Kartra is about as solid of an option as there's available right now, and I'll be getting deep into the reasons why later on in the week. So the question becomes, darn it, I'm sorry, I'm ahead of myself on the slides here. What do I think of Thinkific? So Professor Holman asked, what do I think of Thinkific? I think my wife has done a little bit of research on Thinkific. A little bit of backstory about why I'm talking about this topic is that we have created our online business, our primary online business, startamomblog.com, on the using ConvertKit, WordPress, and Teachable for all the course delivery. So we've never gone down the Thinkific route. I know we've researched it a couple of different times, and truth be told, I think that it's one of those where there's personal preferences. As we looked at the pricing and the different options and the support, and we had a good relationship with Teachable already, we never went down the Thinkific route. But that is a great question and one to go with into in the future. So let's get back in here. So when you're comparing the options, the pros and cons really, so on the fully hosted side, you get to mix and match those components. You have more customization because you're picking each component from each category. But because of that, you also definitely have more complexity. And this is going to be a sticking point as we kind of figure out what is right for you. Sometimes you can have more difficulties with the integration. You might find that your email marketing platform integrates with your page builder, but it doesn't integrate with your online course delivery plugin, or et cetera, et cetera. So you can run into some difficulties there. You have to be very thoughtful when you're putting together a marketing stack if it's all going to be WordPress based. And kind of pros and cons here, you're also in control over your site security, your site uptime, downtime, keeping your plugins up to date, all of that good stuff. I say it's a positive and a negative because for most people, I think it's a negative because you want somebody else to kind of take care of it and be, watching the meter on the pulse and making sure your website stays up and running. But on the other side, there have been instances of hosted solutions, we've experienced, we won't say any names, but both on the email side, on a lot of different parts of our business, that these big companies will even have downtime. So nobody's perfect. It's the online world. It is what it is. But that's just one of those things you have to decide what's right for you. And then on the hosted solution side, again, they provide you the suite of tools that you need to run your business, but the caveat to that is those individual components may not be best in class on their own. So they'll give you a page builder, but Elementor may be a bit more intuitive and nicer. They'll give you a checkout platform, but a Thrivecart or a whatever may be a slightly better looking solution. But it doesn't necessarily detract you from making progress. It's just you have to know what you're going to get when you go into it and be, kind of happy with the development of that one platform there. You also can't swap out those components. So one of the benefits here on the WordPress side is if you start down the route, let's just use email marketing. If you start down the route with MailChimp because it's free, for up to, I think, 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers, once you get past that point or you realize that it may not have the functionality that you need, it's relatively easy, it's not super easy, but it's relatively easy to swap out to an ActiveCampaign, a Drip, a ConvertKit, one of those more premium versions, and just keep on chugging along. Whereas on the hosted solution, for example, I know Kajabi allows you to send emails through its own platform. If you find out that, that email, I need it to do something else on its automations that it's not suited to do, you're kind of up a creek without a paddle. You might be able to add ActiveCampaign onto the mix, but now you're getting away from that nice walled garden that you're paying for to have that email marketing integration built into your overall stack. So that's one of those things you have to kind of, I tell myself you can't be a perfectionist if you go down that hosted solution route, but if you go on the fully hosted route, you can be a perfectionist, but it also might take you 3, 4, 5 times longer to get something accomplished. So it's one of those, you have to pick what's important to you. And then down here, cost savings and simplicity, kind of in the same boat here. If you're okay with what the offering is of a Kartra or a ClickFunnels, and if you're willing to make some sacrifices maybe along the way, you can save significant costs over time, and you can give yourself some simplicity along the way as well. Mr. Espinoza says Thinkific is good for memberships. Very good to know. And I know that that's an interesting point there, because people think of online courses and memberships, and some people think of it as the same thing. Some people think of it as a separate deal. So, for example, Teachable is all about selling courses. They might have membership functionality, but I think it's all kind of lives within a course or a bundle of courses there. And it's nice to be able to do separation. For example, Kartra has the ability to, they just give you membership portals, and some memberships can be courses and some memberships can be more loosely organized information. So it's good to have those separations there. So ultimately, which setup, which road, which path is better? You'll probably not be surprised to know that the answer is it depends. It depends on a ton of things. I think largely it doesn't really primarily depend on your budget. It depends on you and your personality. And not only that, but what do you see for the future of your business? Now, this is where it can be a little hard, because if you're just getting started, or if you just have like an inkling of an idea of where you're going with your business, you won't necessarily know what you need today. And you can run into the problem of being paralyzed because you don't know what you need 3 years from now. And so you don't know what to do tomorrow. And that is not where you want to be. That is not helpful for anybody. It's not helpful for you, not helpful for your family or your pocketbook. It's also not helpful for your audience, because if the tech is holding you back from making forward progress, your audience is not getting served and your message is not getting out to the world. So through this discussion here we're having, I want to make sure that you know enough to get a feeling for what's right in your personality and like what's going to help you make forward progress more consistently, and then just go and move forward. You can always, even if you go to an all-in-one solution, you can migrate away from it if it's not right for you, and vice versa. If you go with the WordPress side, if you decide to add in a Lead Pages or a Kartra, you can always do that as well. Okay. So let me tell you a couple things I like about Kartra and a couple things I'm not a big fan of with Kartra. So what I love is its simplicity. It's one platform. I'll give you a walkthrough in this video of that platform, but it's simplicity to set up. You can import campaigns and just work through the entire process with your email marketing, your landing pages, everything all in one tab, which is great. Everything's integrated through the platform, so you have analytics where your videos can be sending. I'm like using my hands. Your video marketing can actually add tags to your email marketing. So if somebody watches 3 minutes into your video, you can tag them as a more interested person than somebody who bounced after the first 5 seconds. So the amount of integration that gives you is pretty huge, especially when you consider it as an all-in-one platform. You can actually get an overview of that on your dashboard, which is cool. They have a marketing focus in every aspect, which means that they might not have the most technical focus. Like you can do some custom coding, but really not that much. And I'd probably advise you not do that. But their focus is on marketing. They have a lot of scarcity tools built in. Their tagging and lists and email marketing is really, really good. So a lot of focus in that area. And because it's all in one spot, on one login, on one dashboard, you can see the entire process of your business a lot easier. Whereas if you're on your WordPress website to see where the traffic is at, and then you go to your email marketing system to see where they're signing up from it, and then you go to your shopping cart system to see what they're actually buying, actually getting that holistic view of how your business is doing and where the holes are in your funnel, that can be a bit more difficult in that type of a do-it-yourself setup. But also, let's be fair, what I don't like about Kartra, and this really is kind of, it speaks to the entire all-in-one platforms as a whole, is that you are at the mercy of their developers and their timetable and their schedule. So, for example, Kartra has recently released an update where they have direct integration with Google Calendar, where people can actually purchase or sign up for free, like a strategy call or a consulting deal and all that, which is awesome. Like it's really smart because that's a very popular lead generation tool. But the problem is, up until very recently, they've had the feature for several months, but they've only recently integrated with Google. So you would have the ability to blog a schedule, but then if somebody else gets on your Google Calendar, they can double book you. And it's just really frustrating because you're so close. You're on like the 1 yard line in having this really awesome feature, but there are some gaps in the process. Now, if you were using like Calendly and WordPress or any other combination, if you don't like the scheduling tool, you can swap that out and put another one in, and you wouldn't lose too much momentum in the process. But here, you're having to make that sacrifice. But, and I'll show you here as well in the video, Kartra has a very open and public roadmap where you can vote and help them decide what features come next into the platform, which is pretty cool as well. The other downside is direct integration with WordPress. I'll put a tutorial on how I've cracked that nut for some clients later on in this week. But essentially, there's no WordPress plugin where you can take a Kartra page and replace it with a WordPress page. Some of that I know is coming. It's on the roadmap, but it's not here yet, and that can be a little frustrating to wait for. All right, so let's talk about cost. The brass tacks, as they say. This is obviously an important aspect of anything when you're deciding to go in as a solopreneur. The cost of some of these monthly memberships can start to stack up over time. So I did some research for you to help you make an idea. Now, again, I'll disclaimer this by saying initial cost should not be the driving decider, but we all have budgets, right? So let's just be realistic about it. So I put together 3 prospective stacks that we could use and kind of accomplish a similar deal. So the goal of this set of stacks is to maybe have a blog, create content on YouTube and all this, and send them through a funnel where you'd be able to collect email opt-ins, send them email marketing newsletters, and sell them a course or sell them some digital product that's protected behind a protection methodology. So the 3 ways we're doing this is using kind of Thrive themes as the anchor point. So we have Thrive themes, which would include their page builder and their lead caption, all that good stuff. And you'd be selling them through Sendow, which is the direct integration with Thrive and Sendow. Your email marketing would be Drip. To protect the video content you would be selling would be Vimeo, their lowest tiered plan we'll assume is okay for your needs. And then I'm adding in Zendesk because I've found if you don't implement some customer support method, email can be overwhelming and it's just not good as your business grows. So I put Zendesk in here. That one would be one you might be able to add later on, but I wanted to kind of also make sure these 3 different stacks have similar functionality. It's not fair if this one does half of what this one does and you're comparing them apples to apples on costs. So that's kind of why that comparison is there. Then on another one, it's similar, but instead of Thrive, we're using Elementor. Instead of Drip, we're using ConvertKit. Instead of Thrive Apprentice for delivering the course, we're using LearnDash and CartFlows to sell it. So that's another set there. These are both, I would consider, primarily self-hosted options. And then you have this one, which is using a basic WordPress with, really just using WordPress for the blog feature, and then Kartra for everything else. So when you're looking at this, I've got 2 different levels of subscribers, because as the subscriber count goes up, generally that's the most expensive anchor point that increases or decreases your cost. So on the Thrive side, at 2,500 subscribers, you're looking at about $200 per month. Very similar on the Elementor and LearnDash, and you're about $100 cheaper by going on the Kartra route for that all-in-one side. And at 12,500 subscribers, similar story but here's where there's a difference between Drip and ConvertKit, how they scale. It's almost $400 for for the Drip and Thrive stack, about $300 for ConvertKit and LearnDash, and then under $200 for Kartra. So as I mentioned before, you get some simplicity, you get some cost savings, but it does come at the expense of having to be okay with that platform and understanding that no platform is perfect. All right, so I think that's it for the slides. So let me show you a couple things here. Just real quick, for those of you who are not familiar, I do have a review of Kartra that kind of goes through all the platforms in detail. You can go to incomemesh.com/Kartra-review, and that'll go through really every single one of the major features within Kartra, which I think is pretty all-encompassing there. And then just to back up on that cost slide, here's the cost I'm looking at here. So if anybody wants to fact check me, I went through and did the calculations on each email marketing platform, Zendesk, Thrives. So this is the cost that it breaks down to. And then for the 3 different stacks, that's how the cost kind of shows out there. Let me pause real quick for some questions. So Mr. Espinoza asks, what's the best mix of plugins to sell one-time payment courses and also have a membership area? So depending on what you're looking for, a membership plugin itself, like MemberPress or Wishlist Member, they would be able to accept payments. But when you ask the best, think you want to be able to have a good experience. And I have not had very good experiences with those plugins. They tend to be a little clunky in the checkout process, and that's a very important process to make sure you have dialed in. So what I'd probably recommend, depending on what everyone's goals are kind of different, right? But LearnDash has a very good built-in payment processor where you can sell a course. Now here's where course and membership is a little bit different, but if depending on what your membership does, you could probably put it inside a course anyways. You can drip out content that way, and LearnDash has that built-in payment method. It also integrates for free with WooCommerce. So if you wanted to sell other things, you can sell your courses or your membership areas as products as well. So that might be something that could work for you. Apurva asks, why didn't I include ClickFunnels and Kajabi here? So earlier in the slide deck, I did, Apurva. I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering your name. It's not on purpose. I apologize. I mentioned those as being examples of all-in-one platforms, and we'll give some time in the future to each one of them, but I want to kind of be able to focus on one at a time because they are very different in what they offer. And I'll do also later on in this week, I'll do a comparison directly between these platforms themselves. But right now, really the focus is between going that self-hosted route of getting plugins added in, or the all-in-one route as like a whole in terms of how that works on your business side. Okay? Hope that answers your question. So let me show you real fast one of the cool things I really like. So here we are inside the Kartra dashboard. So the big benefit of the all-in-one platforms is that you have one dashboard here that's going to cover pretty much every aspect of your business except for the blog posts. I mean, if you want to have a blog as part of your online business, WordPress is still the cream of the crop when it comes to that. So, but everything else, like selling your products, your digital products, your ebooks, your coaching calls, courses, anything like that would be held in Kartra. It also does upsells and downsells, and it's really customizable in how you do that. Communications, so your email marketing is going to be in here as well, where you can add all your lists of contacts. You can see all of your leads, which I don't want to go there because I don't want you to see all that, but you'll be able to see leads and tags as well as sequences. Now, here's one of the things that I think Kartra does really, really well is their email sequences, I think, are very strong. So let me just pop into one to show you. And we'll edit it real quick. And so here you can see, this is very similar to most visual email building sequences. Sorry, I couldn't figure out the name for it. But what's cool about this one is that you can create sequences within sequences. You can wait for something to happen in your membership area, like they've finished lesson 3, and then you can start to send them a different email chain to maybe upsell them for the next course or things of that nature. There's a ton of things you can do, and the big benefit is because it's all in that one platform, so it talks well together. It's also just very easy to work with. I've had some good success getting more complicated things accomplished and doing it with more simplicity while I'm working. I hope that makes sense. It's a bit more intuitive in my mind than I've seen in other builders. So let's go back here real quick. One of the really cool things I like about the fact that this is it's customer support and product creation and marketing all in one. They have help desks here. And you can set help desks up where on certain pages, in certain membership areas, you can do live chat, you can do Skype, you can do all sorts of fun support, like live phone support and chatting and all this good stuff directly in the platform. So to illustrate this, I have the example page, and this is an example one here on this account. But if you want to get support, and I'm directly here on the support page, you'll be able to choose if you want to call them. It gives them, you can set up all the different parameters of when you're open. You can set up tickets. So instead of just fielding emails or Facebook messages and kind of wherever people are hitting you, you can kind of funnel them into a ticket system, which can help you and potentially your support team do a better job at handling it and measuring it and all that good stuff. Or you can do live chat. Let me show you live chat real quick. And when you start the chat, it'll say an agent will be there shortly. Because what happens over here, no matter where you're at in the platform, you'll be able to see here. Let's see, as I go into live chat. So and actually a sound pinged as I was working, but also you can see now this bar at the bottom of the screen. It says a new chat request from John Whitford. And what's great about this is no matter where I'm at in the platform, I can enter a support room or chat with people and work with them directly there. Hey there. And on the platform, you'll be able to interact and not really like mess up your workflow. So if you're a solopreneur and you're kind of on your own, you're working this deal and you're building a landing page, for example, let's go in here and just edit this page. Let me get rid of this down here. Okay, so even as you're editing a page, this is pretty cool. You'll be able to maintain your customer support even in your page builder. Just loading everything up here for a second. Okay. I'm live streaming. I've probably got other stuff going on in the background, so it's taking a little bit here. Okay, there we go. So you can see that the chat is on course. You enter the room and continue doing the chat support as you're working through and moving your business forward, which is a really nice time saver. Let me just check the comments real fast. Yes, building your own marketing stack is super complicated. I agree with you, and I'm the guy that tends to like gravitate towards the more complicated solutions. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that you only have 24 hours in the day, and there's no like. I had to like tell myself this. There's no shame if you're like, okay, I could spend a month and like get everything humming just right and working and all this good stuff. Or you could take the shortcut and do something that already does talk to each other and spend those extra time and brain cells working on serving your customers. So there definitely is something for you to discern on which route you go. And that's really what this week is all about, is helping you make that discernment. And so then here you go. You can continue chatting while working through. Works really well. You can also access this from your phone and all this good stuff. So I do like that about Kartra. So let me show you real fast. We're going to go to incomemesh.com/Kartra. That is my affiliate link if you guys want to give it I think it's a 30-day. They say it's $1. They say it's a 14-day trial, but I think that you can get it for 30 days really easily just by like one of the emails that comes through. But if you go to incomemesh.com/Kartra and just kind of taking a look at some of the features here, I'll show later on in the week doing done-for-you campaigns, but essentially, if you are not a marketer, but you have an idea or you have a product, you can use some of the best copywriters of this generation, I guess, and they've pre-built different funnels and pre-built different email sequences. And unlike ClickFunnels, where when you do like an import a campaign or a funnel share, I think they call it, all that really does is give you the web pages, like the landing page and the checkout page. Let's be honest, that's kind of the easiest part of the whole deal, right? Like just a couple web pages is not that big of a deal to knock out. The hardest part is, how do you handle your email lists? What do you do? What email do you send when they opt in, and what email do you send when they buy or don't buy? And all of that goes on as well, that is a part of the Kartra done-for-you campaigns. Kartra pages will cover. I've got several videos of building pages with Kartra. If you go to that Kartra review, you'll see a lot of them as well, and they've done some pretty good advancements in that since those videos. So I need to do some updates as well. Email automation, mail. There has been some feedback on Kartra that they nickel and dime you because there's a limit on how many emails you can send in a month. And while there's some credibility to that, I don't think they need to charge for additional emails. There's a very easy workaround. It's not a workaround. You just integrate with like an Elastic email or one of the services that allows you additional bandwidth. And it's super cheap to do. And it totally eliminates any fear of you going over limits with your email sending. Video hosting we'll talk about a little bit later on. And just there's a lot of things you can do. It's really, really fun. Again, it's not perfect. There's nothing that's perfect. I have beat my head against the wall looking for the thing that is perfect. And trust me, guys, it does not exist. But in this video, what we've done, and by the end of it, you have a good understanding of online platforms, both the hosted solutions and self-hosted, whichever one is right for you. You just have to make sure it's right for you. I can give some advice, and if you guys want to leave in the chat what your specific niche is, what you're trying to sell, like do you want to do drop shipping, or do you want to do e-commerce, or different types of applications, and there is a right tool for that application, but there's no one right tool that's right for everybody. I think if you're doing information marketing, like selling courses or ebooks, Kartra's hard to beat for the overall package when you take it, in consideration as one package. Each individual components, there are better ones out there, but then you have 17 different logins, you have to integrate them all together, and you have to check a lot of different places to keep it all straight. I'm not saying that WordPress is not as good as Kartra. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that each have their place. I'm going to check the chats quick here real fast. Yeah, Wistia and Vimeo are definitely good hosting platforms. I think Wistia is a little pricey for what you get. Vimeo is a very solid option as well, and so I do agree with that. Kartra's video hosting is also super cool because, like I mentioned before, there's a lot of analytics baked into the video platform. The downside with that platform, though, is also you're limited on bandwidth, so you can't put unlimited videos on there. You have a certain amount, so you put your webinars, you put your really important squeeze page videos into Kartra's, and then for stuff behind your membership portal, that's really where Vimeo comes in, or some other way of protecting your videos from being downloaded. Awesome. A developer turned marketer. Well, welcome. It is quite a different world here. So anyways, if you guys want to learn more about Kartra or more about digital marketing stacks in general, be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the like button and leave a comment, or hit the dislike button even if you don't like it, and let me know why you don't like the content I'm putting out. I'm trying to put out good content that's relevant, and it's what I'm working on and what I know a lot of people out there are struggling with. So if you enjoyed this, head over to incomesh.com as well. You can sign up for a database of my best and worst tools that can help you kind of understand both the email marketing side, every part of business. I go into much more detail in that freebie. And until the next video, I will, I will see you guys in the next one. And if you want to reach out with me or set up a 30-minute strategy call as well and see if we can connect and work together, you can head to incomesh.com/contact. There's a link at the top of my homepage, and we can set up a time as well. And until next time, I'll see you guys. Take care.